Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
BPL customers whose lights are off have a chance to be reconnected for the Christmas.
Another death from swine flu reported.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. After a tumultuous 2018, Bahamas Power & Light is offering disconnected customers an opportunity to have their lights on for Christmas. According to the company's chairman, all they have to do is pay a portion of their bill before the 19th. Jared Higgs has more.
As Bahamians complain of increasing light bills and politicians announce that more than 5,000 Bahamian households are without power, BPL presenting an opportunity for those who have had their power disconnected to be reconnected for the Christmas. BPL Chairman Donovan Moxey told the press on Friday afternoon that the purpose of the promotion is to provide a bit of relief.
In the spirit of the season, BPL is making an offer to customers with electricity accounts in arrears. Those customers over 60 days in arrears may pay 25% of their outstanding arrears balance by December 21st to avoid disconnection of their services during the holiday season. Additionally, those customers of BPLs who have services already interrupted can be reconnected in time for Christmas if they pay 25% of their existing outstanding bills on or before close of business December 19th.
BPL's Director of Customer Service, Peter Rutherford, says a handful of customers have come in to take advantage of the offer.
Interesting enough, over the last 24 hours, you would have seen it making its rounds on social media. And there were quite a few customers who met us on our doorsteps this morning, ready to go. So there are some persons who have actually been in already, have taken advantage of it, and their light should be on possibly by the end of the day. The
promotion comes following a November announcement by Public Works Minister Desmond Bannister that 5,000 BPL customers collectively owe the corporation $5 million. It also comes as customers' bills have skyrocketed by as much as 70%, due in part to a heavier reliance on more expensive fuel at the company's Blue Hills power station following several fires at its Clifton Pier plant.
With off right now, for Monday I pay $5.60, I can't get my light on.
BPL customer Stanley McPhee says his lights are currently off, but he paid off his bill on Monday. In hindsight, he says he wishes that he had waited to pay that bill in full.
It would have been much, much better. I'd feel much satisfied to know I only pay a quarter. To know to pay $5.60 and can't get my light on, that's absurd, man. All week, I got a family, man. All week, I right here trying to get my light on, can't get it on.
61-year-old Ken Rigby says his lights are on, even though he has a balance. We caught up with him as he was trying to assist an elderly neighbor whose lights have been disconnected.
I going right now to try to get this lady light on. Grocery anymore. I going right now by the mall to get this letter to get her light back on.
Despite the positive news for his neighbor, Rigby says he's not impressed with the promotion.
I feel like they should just go down on the, on the light bill a little too high. I feel the bill is too high.
Other customers we spoke with didn't need to take advantage of the promotion, but they did have these messages for the utility provider.
It's a good thing, but I still say it needs to be dropped lower.
A lot of persons lights were off for many years. They had generators, backup, fire, debt, even the house in Nassau Village. They cannot afford it. And then fuel charges went up.
Yeah, I think it makes sense because, having no light, that's kind of a little bad. So it'll be best. It makes sense for Christmas. If it's only just for Christmas, I think it makes sense.
The promotion is valid for the month of December, and customers who miss subsequent payments will be disconnected. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Crude oil prices have trended downwards in recent months, but that doesn't necessarily mean an immediate reduction in light bills for BPL customers. BPL Chairman Dr. Donovan Moxey explains that because the company purchases oil in bulk, lower costs may take time to be reflected in power bills.
We typically buy the oil that we utilize 45 to 60 days in advance. And so whenever you see it trending down, because we have to utilize the inventory that was initially purchased, there's typically a 40 to 60 day lag in when the customers actually see that in their bill. So traditionally from BPL, that cost has always been passed along to the customers, whether it's an increase or a decrease. And so those decreases will be passed on to the customers.
3 fires at BPL's Clifton Pier power plant caused damage to 2 engines. This resulted in a heavier reliance on the Blue Hills power station, whose engines use more expensive fuel. Moxie says those generators are still in the hands of insurers, and it is unclear when they will be returned.
I don't know, because we're still waiting to hear back from the insurers with respect to their final reports. I know we've been having discussions, the CEO, actively with the insurers and the insurance adjusters. And again, from our perspective, we just want to make sure that everything is done in accordance with protocol.
Another person in the country has died as a result of the swine flu. Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands confirmed to our news today that a 35-year-old woman died on Wednesday. This is the second death from a case of the H1N1 virus in the Bahamas over the past month. When pressed for more details like nationality or whether the woman was in Nassau, the health minister declined, saying the public shouldn't be worried. Well, as accusations of poor consultation on a number of key issues continue to be levied against the minister administration, one of those organizations is calling for the creation of a task force to bridge the gap between government and civil society. Jasmine Brown reports.
What we'd like to do is we have an engagement with regard to the development of a task force, which provides the consistent engagement with empowering the civil society sector with regard to accessibility and equity.
CSB is not the only group that hit out at the government for consultation that they say is lacking. The Bahamas Christian Council has also been critical. Hamilton says the last thing the government should do is make any citizen feel excluded.
Inclusion and consultation is a critical part of this process for the citizenry. Each of us need to take responsibility. Every citizen of this country ought to have an appreciation, and if not, they must begin to get an appreciation for what the contribution of civil society is in terms of the organizations.
Dr. Hamilton's comments come as the minister's administration seeks to pass the Non-Profit Organizations Bill 2018 before the end of the year. In the Senate on Monday, the AG announced that the debate and passage of the NPO Bill 2018 would be delayed for a week. The reason, according to Bethel, was to allow for further consultation with stakeholders. The move came after Civil Society Bahamas released a press statement on Sunday evening. It called on the government to amend the Non-Profit Organizations Bill 2018. The bill seeks to regulate non-profit organizations and mandates that each organization register with the government and provide, among other things, evidence of its gross annual income, the identities of its members, and evidence of know your customer due diligence. Moving forward, Hamilton says there needs to be better communication on both ends.
What is actually happening is that we're taking responsibility. And for a long time, we haven't done that. Reference is made to the fact that civil society has done a great lot of work. We're talking about nationally, regionally, and internationally. The revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and also with respect to the Charter for Civil Societies, these are things that are already established, and we're simply following through with accountability. The whole bottom line of this is having adequate accountability for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Thanks, Jasmine. Well, President of Great Commission Ministries, Bishop Walter Hanschel, is slamming the new non-profit organization bill, calling it a bill that will cause NPOs to shut down. Jillian Gray has that.
We do not support this bill, and we will do everything in our power to see that it is not passed. And if it is passed, we will remember the government when it's time to vote again.
Joining in with the chorus of complaints against the government's non-profit organization bill is Bishop Walter Hanschel of Great Commission Ministries, who said the bill is in need of major changes.
The bill needs wide consultation with the public and civil society. It should not have been passed so rapidly in the House of Assembly without prior consultation with the people it will affect. Numerous amendments are needed to this bill, and the vast majority of nonprofit organizations have major concerns with this bill that has been passed. A number of amendments must be made before it becomes law, and we are asking the Senate to send this bill back to the House of Assembly for review, for amendments, after consultation with all of the stakeholders and with the Bahamian public.
Earlier this week, the Senate opted to halt the bill, with the Attorney General stating that they will wait to listen to civil society on the matter. Hanschel outlined just where he thought the bill was flawed.
The registration process is too tedious and stringent. There are 15 different things that are needed for a nonprofit to register under this bill. I believe that there should be no registration fee in the first place. And also, the minister and the registrar have too much power.
Great Commission Ministry pastor said he had no problem personally with complying, but added that many others may. Hanschel said the bill will negatively affect nonprofit organizations and questioned why political parties do not come under this bill. It's a point that was raised by the opposition during the debate on a compendium of financial bills in the House of Assembly. The Prime Minister has said that campaign finance reform will come before the end of his term. When asked about the nonprofit organizations bill earlier this week, the Deputy Prime Minister said it is simply to ensure that persons are not using NPOs for nefarious activities.
Every donor who gives money to a nonprofit organization, some of them want to be anonymous. And if they do, there's no law that should make us say who they are. This is not a terrorist state. The government knows what every organization is doing. Rather than trying to destroy so many organizations, because a lot of people will not be able to comply.
Hanschel said they are making it harder for charities to operate, adding that if nonprofits shut down, the government will have a greater problem on their hands.
There are a lot of organizations that are, because of what they do, they cause crime and poverty to be reduced. And if these organizations were to close down, crime would definitely be out of control, poverty would increase, and a lot of people would not be getting the type of social help that they need.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Still to come, the Trade Union Congress President weighs in on what's happening at Sandals. Plus, we get it in with physique total fitness in this week's Fit Friday. Stay tuned.